We say hello to the great Joe Namath.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much for stopping by.
Well, I want you to know it's a thrill for me to be with you guys now, all right? Bill?
I like it.
Now, you live in Florida. What's it like for you when you come back to New York?
Home. It's comfortable. It's terrific. People generally have a smile when we cross paths and say hello. It's a good vibe. It's a positive vibe. And I think a lot of us, those that are old enough, remember what we accomplished in this 9-year, 69, the 1950th anniversary, along with the Mets and along with the Knicks, you know, so it's good memories, good feeling.
I've always wanted to ask you about that time, because not only were the championships, you know, it was a championship time for a lot of the New York teams, but you also spent a lot of time hanging out with other stars, pro stars, which you just don't see that anymore today. You know, you'd be out and it would be, whether it's Rod Gilbert or whether, you know, maybe Earl Monroe another night.
Oh,
you know.
my goodness.
Like that doesn't happen today. Like, why did that work so easily for you back then? Were you attracted to those players, or did it just happen you were in the same place?
Well, we overlapped seasons sometimes, you know, and the hockey guys were around. We were around too a little bit, and the baseball and the basketball, of course. Man, when you mentioned the Pearl, I remember when we got him.
There you go.
Oh, yes,
the Mick.
man, the Mick, yes. And who we have on the left there, right?
Joe,
Billy Martin right
Joe,
there.
was that night end okay?
One of the highlights of my life, I promise you. I was a rookie in New York at 22.
There you go, Willie Mays.
Oh, say hey, man.
There's Mick again.
Yeah.
That's some, look at this. Like, this is what I mean, though. The fact that you guys, can you imagine social media back then when you guys were hanging out like that?
Well, back then we couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it. But today, I'm, you know, thinking, well, I would have adjusted. We adjust, you know, and it's different today. There was more private time. And even today, for those of us that can keep a lower profile as opposed to a 6'7" or 6'8" guy that, you know, can't keep a low profile anywhere, it's a different world. I can't imagine that.
But it's like if Sam Darnold and Aaron Judge and, you know, name someone else. I mean, it's just, you know, Henrik Lundqvist all went out to a bar and hung out. That would break the internet. And you guys did that regularly.
And understandably, too. I mean, we respect athletes, and we respect them to a point now that there's more adulation, I think. There's a bigger crowd and wanting to share that contact with them. We have the means to do it. I have my little iPhone here. I'm taking pictures and looking at
Are you on Twitter, Joe? Are you on Twitter?
Have a Twitter account.
How's the followers?
I don't keep up with it that much. I usually use Twitter during the football season, some when I'm watching the Jets or the Crimson Tide. Other than that, you know, my friends, come on, Joe, we want to do more. I said, with the book out now, we may be doing some more tweeting.
So here's your new book. It's called All the Way, My Life in 4 Quarters. Tell us about it and what was the motivation for writing it?
Well, the motivation for writing actually came from the upcoming season. This is about a year ago, a year and change. It was brought to my attention that it was our 50th anniversary of this 9-year, and also, hey, how about the Mets and the Knicks too, you know? And Little Brown did approach me about possibly doing a book. And I was a little negative about that to begin with, because it is a lot of work. It does take time and effort. And I gave it some thought, you know, my life in 4 quarters, because I do plan on living to be 100. You know, you make
You're getting close.
I'll take it.
If you have enough coaches, we know the importance of a plan, a game plan. When I turned 50, one of the guys I know said, "Man, you're getting old, boy." I said, "Wait a minute, I don't feel old." So I started thinking about this, and I thought of my mother and my father, and they made it into the late 80s. I figured, man, what we know today about taking care of the instrument, you know, and exercise and stuff, I have a shot to living to be 100, see?
You're going to be 76 on May 31st, right?
And so I figured 50 was just halftime. And I've seen a lot of games in the big game of life. I've seen a lot of games in sports that 4 quarters, won and lost in that third and fourth quarter. So I figured I had a lot of run left in that third and fourth quarter, and I wanted to make it positive. So, yeah, I want to keep getting healthier, better, stronger, more productive, or as productive. Yeah, the third and fourth quarter is important. So
you have more stories to tell. I mean, you obviously have had stories to tell. That's why they're in that book. But you feel like you still have more stories to tell.
the people, life is we talk team game stuff. Life's a team effort. And the people I meet, yourself, you guys, sharing with what I went through today, of what I may go through in the future, the people that I've met and I continue to meet, life's an ongoing adventure to me, and it just keeps adding to how I enjoy life.
So one of my greatest disappointments as a young boy here in New York was in August of '71. You're playing the Lions in a preseason game.
Oh, man, I know.
And you get picked off. And,
No, I didn't.
well, whatever. The other team.
It was called the safest play, second safest play in the book. Quarterback sneak was the safest play. We had a rookie fullback named Lee White, so I call a P10, up the middle. We're running the clock out in the first half. But he's a rookie, so give him a chance to carry the ball, man. He runs up there, bounces outside, gets hit and fumbles. So what do? I mean, I go over there to turn the runner back in. The guy was carrying the ball. Linebacker picked it up. Lucci, I believe it was, Mike Lucci. And Paul Newmoff was a cat that came. Once I turned the runner in, I got an arm around him, and my body got horizontal, and Newmoff hit my left leg and tore ligaments.
And I'll never forget that because
perineal
Joe,
nerve. It was a tough
the
one.
details. That's yeah.
First preseason game. Man.
everybody's saying, what in the world is Joe Namath doing? But you look in the back of the book, if you're not going all the way, why go at all? And that was your attitude even in a preseason football game.
Yeah, I think I got that line though from being a teenager and out with the girl. And I thought about now. It's about giving a really full effort.
See, it's not just about football, is it? Right? There's
No.
plenty to learn here.
Well, life, man, as I say, that's the biggest team effort, team game.
Is it difficult for you? People have told your story pretty much your whole life. From when you were a college star to when you came to New York. Your story's been told a lot by other people. Was it hard or was it easy for you to tell your own stories when you had to sit down and write your own book? Because sometimes first of all, you're showing us already your memory's impeccable. I mean, you are able to recall specific moments. But that doesn't make writing a book easy. Was this a challenge for you to tell your own story?
It's very difficult for me to write a book. I had participated in 4 books prior to this. Football for Young Players and Parents. I was talking about something that I knew, a matter of style. Bob Oates and I got together and did Dick Shapp, and I worked on a nice book, Rugged Land, I believe it was. We published a book that was mostly pictures, but still talking about it. And I didn't read the other books about me. I didn't read.
Really?
I really did not, because even as little leaguers or whatever, you're taught, don't believe what you read, it's too good, whatever. If you're going to believe that good stuff, you're going to have to believe the bad stuff too. So, to keep the sanity, didn't read about myself. When it was good, it was hard not to. You peak a little bit. It just makes you feel good sometimes. Somebody says, "Oh, that's cool, man." But this book, I felt I came to the realization that I have been around a while and I've learned things along the way. The Susie Colbert incident, for example, was a life's lesson to me, and how she and I went along and handled that, because I didn't realize what I had done or how I had behaved that night until I got a phone call the next morning from a friend, and he told me. And so, wow, first thing I did was after I realized the mistake, I called Susie and I apologized to her, and she was so gracious, understanding, and in fact, helping me move forward. I realized I needed help. I needed to go get an education about this addiction, and I did, and I learned about how to handle addiction, and you need education. because the first time I did stop drinking was my former wife asked me in 1986 to stop drinking. She said, you are drinking too much. And I said, nah. She said, well, you go get help. You need to. And I didn't believe her. But I was determined to stop, and I did stop for 13 and a half years. But learning in Alcoholics Anonymous and getting the education, I was a dry drunk. Even though I wasn't drinking for 13 and a half years, without knowing why, without knowing about addiction, how slippery it can be, they call you a dry drunk. So I got the education, became a friend of Bill's, and I promise you, man, all over the country, places I'll go, an airport, into a shopping store of some kind, where somebody come over and they kind of whisper, I'm a friend of Bill. I said, okay, great, say it loud, we're together, I understand. A part of the book is about that. If you've got a problem, reach out for help, get it. Don't be hiding about these kind of things. If you're an underdog, and our Jets were an underdog, an 18-point underdog or so, and we're told we're underdogs, excuse me.
You got the ring.
Yes, sir. I'll wear it on special occasions. That's right. Only on special
And this
occasions.
is a special occasion, being here on the MSG 150.
I've been looking at that ring, there's no question. And by the way, what you're doing here is also making sure you get to the fourth quarter, right? What you did, and obviously in acknowledging your problem, will help you get to that fourth quarter, clearly. So your life continues to evolve. It's amazing.
God willing, because that fourth quarter starts May 31st.
I have to ask you though, as you've mentioned the Knicks in a championship, and obviously for the Knicks continually trying to build their way back, just like the Jets are. It's a similar thing. They get Sam Darnold, a lot of positive momentum going forward now for the Jets, a belief again in the franchise. The Knicks are hoping to have that with the draft this year and then also free agency. But a lot of people have talked about how difficult it is to win in New York. Obviously, you've experienced the winning part, but you've also experienced what comes after winning, which is why people still love you today. You said it's 50 years, and you still are one of the biggest names in New York sports history. You're royalty in this city. So if you could, in your own experience, your own words, what is it like when you win in New York?
Joyful is the first thing that jumps into my mind, not only for our team, the people are part of the franchise, but the people that love the sport. New Yorkers realize how difficult it is to excel, succeed, man. We've had the Rangers do well in New York, and the Mets, would like to see them do better, and the Knicks too more often, and certainly the Jets. It's been a long time. The Giants have come through a couple of times, or maybe a few times, even going back. New York, they're proud of their own, and being here, working in New York, living in New York, feeling the energy, being a part of the energy, it's contagious. It spreads to the people, and they let us know if we did succeed. Now then, when you throw 5 interceptions in a game, you also are walking down the street and you're getting critique from somebody you don't even know. You bum, what's wrong with you, man? They'll let you know, the folks in New York, and we could include Jersey because that's where we're playing over there too, and we have fans there. But New Yorkers are up front. They'll let you know how they feel, man, and for the most part, I've been blessed to be a part of it, and lucky, fortunate we won.
We'd love you to stick around. Stick around for us for a little bit?
Well, it depends on how long, a week, a day.
One more segment.
Absolutely.
One more segment, okay?
25 more years at least.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.